TGIF, everybody. Aren't you happy it's Friday? Even though here in Huntsville, Alabama, it is raining a lot and it's a little on the cool side. But thank goodness it is Friday, so we get to look towards the weekend. And I hope you all have something fun planned for the weekend. So we will see what the weekend holds. But I wanted to come on here today and talk about two things. One has to do with a question I get. So today is frequently asked questions day. So the first question that I often get is from mostly older parents who come into my office and say, should I add my child to my bank account? Should I add my child to the deed on my property, to my house? Um, Somebody has told me I need to do that, or this take things or make things easier. So I get those questions a lot, and I want to address that here. And I'm also going to address a question I get about trademarks. So, who am I? Why am I talking about these issues? I'm Tanya Hendricks. I'm Huntsville Estate Planning Lawyer, LLC. I am an estate planning, trademarks, and copyright lawyer in Huntsville, Alabama. And this is my practice. So, this is what I do day in and day out. To get to that question of should I add my child to my bank account? Should I add my child to my deed? Um, it kind of depends, but generally, just understand that it's not always a good idea. There are some circumstances where it may be helpful, it may be beneficial, and that can only be only be decided when you talk with your lawyer about the best plan of action, the best course of action. But in general, there are a lot of things that happen when you do that. So it's probably not going to be the best idea. I mean, one thing that happens is when you add your child to your bank account and they become a joint owner, that becomes an asset to them. And so if they were to get in a car accident and get sued, or they were going through a divorce, that is an asset of theirs now. So whatever you have in that account, if they are a joint owner, so when you add someone to your account where they can write checks and they can pay bills and do whatever, they're a joint owner. When that happens, that is an asset of theirs that can be, now I'm saying they will, but can be used as accountable asset if there is a lawsuit against them or go through divorce, something like that. So you have to be very careful. The other thing, because it will be a joint account, when you pass away, rules of banking say that is that child's money. And you may be thinking, well, that's okay because they're going to divide it with their siblings. Well, they can, but there may be some tax implications to that. So there may be some tax issues that arise because if everything goes to this child and then she starts gifting it to her siblings because it's hers, it's all hers. Once you pass away, if you're sending it to your daughter, if you add your daughter to your account, you pass away, it all goes to your daughter. She can start giving it out to her siblings, but then that's a gift from her. So before you do something like that, be sure you talk to your accountant and find out what may be the tax consequences to that person you want to add to your account. And then what about if you want to add your child to the deed to your house? Some of the same issues. So when you just add your child to a deed, again, it becomes an asset to your child. And even though you're living in the home and your thought process is this will just make it easier. So when I pass away, it just automatically goes to my child. That number one is an asset to your child. Number two, there may be some tax implications for that. So be sure before you do that, not only do you talk to a lawyer about your situation, but also talk to an accountant about your situation because you may be setting up your child for a tax burden or yourself for a tax burden that you don't intend. So um, be aware before you do that. And also, it's an asset to theirs of theirs. So if there's a lawsuit or divorce, something like that, it's an asset. Also, same thing with your bank account. Your idea may be, well, I'm going to just leave it to this child, and she knows what I want done. She knows I want it sold and divided between everybody. Again, when you add this child to your deed, it is half hers. So, depending on how the deed is worded, it could be hers automatically upon your death, or 50% of it is hers outright. And then if she wants to sell it and divide it with her siblings, her 50% share, she can do that, but there may be some tax consequences. So it's not as easy as it may seem. It may not have the same effect as you think it may have. So before you go and add your child to a bank account or add your child to your deed, talk to a lawyer, talk to an accountant, and be sure you understand the liabilities that you may incur or your child may incur to doing that. Um, and on that note, I do want to say be careful who you get your advice from. And, I recently had somebody tell me that they were given that advice to add their child or add their name by someone at a funeral home. If they don't have a JD behind their name, take everything that's said with a grain of salt. And thank goodness this person asked, um, went and sought the help of a lawyer. But always be careful who you get your advice from. If they don't have a law degree, and I mean, even if they have a law degree, but they haven't done work in the estate planning and estate administration field, be very careful about the advice. You want to make sure you're getting solid advice before you take action like that. So be careful who you seek advice from. We all become Google doctors, don't we? We get a sniffle or something, and we go to WebMD or we go to Google and we say, "What's this symptom? What is it? What can it be?" We all look those things up, and then we self-diagnose and we do things, but we don't do our own surgeries, do we? We don't. So be careful when you want to become a Google lawyer or who you ask advice from. Be careful about that because you want to be sure you're getting the solid advice, the right advice, so that what you really want to have happen is what's going to happen. So just be careful about that. All right. And then about trademarks, I get a question from small business owners. So one of the things I do as an estate planning lawyer is I help small business owners, and small business owners have trademark questions. And so I'm doing trademarks now. And one of the questions I get was, do I need a trademark? If I'm just a small business, I'm just a business here in Huntsville, Alabama. Do I really need to get a trademark? I mean, I'm really small. Short answer is yes. I mean, number one, you need to do a trademark search to be sure that you are able to use the name and the logo and the phrase, all those things that you are wanting to use. I mean, that small business owners spend thousands of dollars to build their brand, to get that website, to get that LLC, to get all these things to build their brand and build their business. You want to be sure you're not wasting that money because what happens if you have spent thousands of dollars and then you started operating, you started working, and all of a sudden you get a letter that says cease and desist. I've got a trademark on that name. I got that name is registered as my trademark. Then you just lost those thousands of dollars. So number one, you want to make sure that you want to ensure that you can use those names. Secondly, you want to enforce any rights of your own. You want to protect your own rights. You want to protect your own symbol, your own trademark, your own logo, brand, whatever it is that you end up trademarking. You want to be able to protect that and enforce your rights to that and keep others from using it. So yes, you do want to get a trademark, even if you're a small business. All right, what are your questions? What are some questions that you have about estate planning or trademarks or copyrights? You can put those questions in the comments. You can email me, Tanya at HuntsvilleEstatePlanningLawyers.com. But also visit my website, HuntsvilleEstatePlanningLawyers.com. HuntsvilleEstatePlanningLawyers.com is my website. I'm Tanya Hendricks. And if you like this content, be sure you like and subscribe to this channel so you will be alerted to upcoming videos and when I go live again. I will see you next Friday for more Friday fun with frequently asked questions. Y'all have a great Friday and a great weekend. Tanya Hendricks, Huntsville Estate Planning Lawyer, HuntsvilleEstatePlanningLawyers.com.